Hello everyone, we'll continue with our topic, that is Organization and Management of Pathology Laboratory. Here are some side headings we will be discussing in this part. Quality control, that is having the quality measures in the laboratory. With respect to instrument, we need to do the calibration of the instrument. That means we are checking for the accurate working of our instrument. So if there is any problem, you have to investigate the problem with respect to the instrument, and the specific steps has to be taken so that there won't be any reoccurrence of the problems. See that we run the controls with respect to the instruments, and whatever controls you have run, document those values so that we are going to check for the reproducibility of those results. If control values are improper, remedial actions must be performed and documented. That means proper actions has to be taken. Record of QC activities should be retained for a period of 2 years. At least for 2 years, we need to maintain the records. The next side heading is quality assurance. Quality assurance refers to having control over all the aspects of the laboratory work. So it says it is having access to various fields like technical and non-technical performance of the laboratory. So like it will be looking for the quality target, how much the target has been reached according to the required standard we have met or not, measuring if the target is reached, etc. Potential areas of quality assurance monitoring. The required areas of this quality assurance where it is going to monitor is specimen quality. It will check for the specimen quality, that means the required samples are present for the respective parameter analysis. Identification and handling of the specimens are done properly or not. Timeliness and accuracy of the reporting system, whether the reports are generated at a faster rate, and timeliness of the personnel evaluation, whether the technologists are also working fast enough to complete their procedures. Accreditation. It refers to the assessment of the laboratory by national or international body, that is ISO. ISO refers to International Organization for Standardization for the competence. So here the external body like the national or international body, they will come and check for some of the aspects whether all those conditions are satisfied in a laboratory or not. So if at all it is being satisfied, they are going to give some certification, that is termed as the accreditation. So laboratory will be evaluated for sufficient space, personnel training, CME of staff, methodologies followed in the lab, which standard methods are followed, it will be checked, records, preventive maintenance and QC programs, and other things also can be checked by the external body in order to give the certification. Lab safety. Lab safety refers to the protection for the laboratory personnel who is working in the laboratory. So some safety measures has to be followed in order to prevent the hazards which can occur in a laboratory. So some preventive measures with respect to fire hazard. Hazard refers to danger or risk. So with respect to fire hazard, we'll see what are the preventive measures. Like we need to have the fire alarm so that it will sound whenever there is a fire hazard. Exits should be present where there will be an open space, and illuminated signs should be present. That means the exit boards should be of illuminated forms so that it can be easily seen. Easy access to exits should be present. Use of firefighting equipments and apparatus should also be present, like we need to have the jackets, blankets, sand, etc. Portable fire extinguishers should be present. That means the fire extinguisher can be moved from one place to other. Mechanical ventilation, that is to remove the vapors of liquids, and see that the laboratory personnel do not smoke inside the lab. Next, preventive measures with respect to electrical hazard. See that we regularly maintain the electronic equipments. Wiring with the grounded or earthing system should be present. See and also we need to have the circuit breakers and interrupters. So if there is any fluctuations in the voltage, these can prevent the hazard caused by the electricity. One electric socket should be used for one appliance only. Don't connect many equipments to one socket itself. Connecting cables, see that the cables are as short as possible and they are in good condition. Next one, biological hazard. To prevent biological hazard, we can follow these steps. Avoid the spillage, avoid breakage, see that the workbenches are clean and tidy, and all the infectious materials has to be discarded daily in a proper manner. First we need to disinfect all those infective materials and then appropriately we need to discard the materials. Awareness to deal with the breakage and spillage. If at all there is spillage or breakage, how to handle them, that knowledge also should be known to us. Usage of sterilizers or disinfectants. So please make use of the disinfectants or sterilizers now and then as we finish with the handling of any infective materials. Personal protection is also essential. Some of the personal protective conditions we can follow, like protective clothing we can wear, that is the gowns, aprons and gloves. Safety spectacles and goggles also we can make use to protect our eyes. Emergency showers and eye wash facilities also should be made available. Availability of the respirators. Respirators are nothing but those apparatus where it is placed over the mouth and nose, so that it is covering the mouth and nose, so that it prevents the inhalation of dust, smoke and other toxic substances. We can also make use of heat resistant gloves in order to remove any objects from the autoclaves and ovens. Rubber gloves and aprons should be used when we are dealing with the spillage and while handling the corrosive chemicals. See that mouth pipetting is not being followed in the laboratory. Health and safety of the staff. See that we'll be having some first aid boxes in our laboratories, and also there should be information notice, so that in this notice board there will be all the informations like where the first aid box will be present, the telephone numbers of different departments like fire engine, ambulance, nearby hospitals, police station, etc. And see that the non-technical staff, they too will be educated with the potential hazards whatever is being done in the laboratories. They too should be educated so that they also take care about themselves. The pregnant lady staff should be devoid of handling the hazardous and infectious materials. So the pregnant lady staff should not handle any of the hazardous and infectious material. Working staff should be immunized appropriately against the infective agents. If at all there is immunization available, so the working staff should be immunized properly. Financial considerations. So there are some financial techniques in order to manage the abundant amount of funds. So some of the financial techniques which can be followed are capital budgeting and cost accounting. So capital budgeting will have control over the money which has been spent over the expensive equipments. If you are going to purchase any expensive equipment, you have to think over to purchase such type of equipments, whether it will be useful for our laboratory. By using that, whether it will be beneficial, whether we will be getting sufficient income or not. We have to calculate all these things by means of this capital budgeting upon purchasing any costly items. Next term called as cost accounting. So this will be having the management, that means the it is also one of the financial management over the other aspects like salaries, personal benefits, supplies, materials, maintenance, telephones and electricity. With all these small things, the financial management is done, and that is known as cost accounting. Medico-legal concerns, here also some side headings we have where we need to follow all these things also, called as informed consent. So informed consent refers to the permission which has been obtained from the patient. So it is saying whether the patient, whether they will be agreeing and understanding the nature of examination which will be done over them, the specimen whatever has been collected, and what will be done with your report. So all with respect to all these things, the permission has to be obtained from the patient. For example, while collecting the bone marrow samples, when you are performing the lumbar puncture, when you are doing the FNA procedures also, we need to obtain the permission from the patient. Next term called as confidentiality, it refers to the information should be hidden, where it should not be revealed to any others purposely, where it should not be given, the information should not be given to others. Confidentiality, so it should be followed for all the lab tests and results. Only the healthcare provider and the doctor should assess the report. So the laboratory test as well as its reports should be between the healthcare provider as well as the doctor, or one more person, as the patient also can know whatever his lab test and his reports, where it should not be revealed to others. Chain of custody. So here the detailed tracking of the specimen is done, that is from specimen collection, its analysis until its report. So this tracking of the specimen is done with respect to the medico-legal cases, like the rape cases, murder cases. From these cases, if you are getting any samples, see that all these samples tracking is done by the police also, so that they will see how the specimen collection is done, how it has been analyzed, and how the reports are given out, so that all these are maintained confidentially, where all these things are not revealed outside. If at all you are going to reveal, if you are involved in revealing any of these aspects, you will be put in the imprisonment. So you should follow all these medical legal concerns like informed consent, confidentiality, as well as chain of custody. Thank you.